Hello, my name is Dan Johnson and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a new release from Big Finish Productions, and that is entitled Last Stand as part of the Paternoster Gang Trespassers saga. This is the final part in this 4-box set, 12-episode storyline. When the first box set in the series was released, I hadn't listened to any Paternoster Gang whatsoever. So when I get into Rogue's Gallery, which was the first set, I did wonder what I was getting myself into. Throughout these 12 episodes, we have an ongoing storyline. This time it's talking about doppelgangers, hence the term Trespassers. But the priority with all of these episodes is to give you a nice one-off tale. Something that I was really surprised by was how funny these releases are. I didn't realise comedy would be such a big bit of it. Sometimes I find comedy on audio a little bit grating, but this comedy is so well executed. I think Strax has a line at least every episode that makes me smile, and it's just very funny. His outlook on stuff, the fact that towards the end of the series he punched a chip shop owner as a form of payment. Moments like that. Dan Starkey doing an absolutely amazing performance because he plays it with such honesty, and it's so masterfully done, because I think with comedy on audio you're always doing a bit more than you normally would, and that's why I feel like that doesn't always hit, because you're doing beyond, you're sort of messing up your joke. There is an episode in the third set called Double Gangers, I think it's the first one, in which they take use of the double ganger idea that they're using through this saga and milking it of every comedic value it has, and it works really well. You know, having all of these characters move from room to room, not knowing which one is the real one and which one's the fake one, was a really fun episode. Another highlight is the fact that we are in a Victorian setting, and with that there's a lot of imagery that comes with that, and a lot of values as well that they nicely thread into different episodes. We have stories with the poor, we have stories with the rich, we have the element of fashion and the fashions of the time, the races and things like that come into play as well. Each time I listen to an episode, I'm always wondering where they're going to take these characters next, and I'm always so enthralled about the adventures that they get up to in Victorian society. I've not yet talked about the main plot line, and as you can see in the cover art for the 4th box set, so it's not a spoiler, we have an image of a Zygon appearing in Strax's face, and this Zygon is called Bortak, and I don't think he's a particularly good villain. He is supposed to be the Moriarty to the sort of Sherlock Holmes that Madame Vastra is. Although he's very one note and I don't know a lot about him by the end of the set. I know that Moriarty in the Sherlock Holmes books was not particularly developed. I find that a lot of versions do take the character and add lots of sort of elements to him to make him more interesting. For example, the Benedict Cumberbatch run made Moriarty a man who is a psychopath and is just having fun playing games. The trouble is, they're not doing that with Bortak, and maybe it's because it's passed around different writers that each one is kind of going, we'll come back to this later. So then when you get to the final episode, I don't feel like I really feel the weight of what this villain should be. There's a line in the last episode that says that Bortak is one of the biggest things we've ever faced. In fact, the biggest enemy we've ever faced, and we should all be incredibly scared about what's about to happen. And I just don't feel like that quite hits the way that it should. If this is the final problem, yeah, that's how it's done in the episode, that's not a spelling mistake. If that is the equivalent to the Rack-and-Back Falls, I really want Moriarty to be a bit more than that. The final question is, will I be returning to Paternoster Row and the gang again? And I definitely think I will. These are beautifully performed scripts, beautifully written, excellent comedy. I know I made a lot of criticisms of the main villain, but I didn't notice these things until the very last episode, because I was having so much fun with everything else going on. And I think maybe with this range they take a slightly different approach than other sets do. There is an element that it's a bit more casual, it's definitely episodic, and these big plot lines that feel like they should have more weight to them is just something I've come to expect from listening to other Rangers like the Eighth Doctor. Maybe this is just what they're like. Maybe they focus more on their character drama and on their story of the week than they do the bigger picture, which I don't necessarily mind. And I'll leave you with this as a form of recommendation. I listen to a lot of Big Finish while I'm at work. I listen to a ton of different things while I am weeding or whatever I'm doing that day. And with that, there are very few releases that actually elicit a reaction, particularly a comedic one. But while I've been listening to this set and re-listening to it in anticipation of the fourth box set, I have smiled so much in the last couple of days listening to it. I've just enjoyed all of the little tangents, all of the little casual adventures that they've gone on. It's been really, really pleasant to listen to. I'd be quite interested to know if you've listened to the first range that they did, which I think was called a Heritage. I'd be quite interested to hear your opinions on that and whether I should delve into that as well. But until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.